Hi, everyone, and happy May the 4th be with you. Thanks so much for joining us tonight for this very special event. My name's Addison, and I'm the Cinema and Comedy Coordinator at SteelStacks, and your co-moderator tonight for the big reveal on what is the best of the best in the world of Star Wars. You guys filled out a form. Thank you so much. We had 114 total responses on all of your opinions on Star Wars. So yeah, a lot to sift through. I've got some great pie charts I'm very excited to show you. And we've got a great panel of people who are, the best Star Wars aficionados. I mean, you guys included. Everyone here obviously holds Star Wars near and dear to their heart. And we're excited to discuss it. But I'm going to introduce you first to my co-moderator, and he's going to tell you all about the panel that we have with us. And he also works at ArtsQuest in the cinema and comedy world with me. It's Anthony DeSanctis.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to May the 4th Be With You, a Star Wars debate show. I hope you've all been taking this day to appreciate all that is the Force and Star Wars and all the greatness. So we are going to, over the next hour, debate the best of the Star Wars movies. We can, of course, argue about that as well, but we will particularly be talking about the films today. So essentially, we have this chart that Addison talked about. I have not seen the results of this. Addison is going to rock my world along with the panels. We're probably all going to be proven wrong. There'll be many debates, probably some screaming because, hey, we are Star Wars fans. So it's what happens. Let's all be real, people. All right. Now, I can't do this alone. So one at a time, I'm going to introduce somebody. And then when I introduce you, I want you to tell me just a fond Star Wars memory you have. So first, I'm going to kick it over to, she's a teacher at Southern Lehigh and one of the co-curators of our first Saturday Horror Series. This is Lauren Tossi, who I think one of the first times we really met was in line for Force Awakens. You had just walked out, Leia buns and all, telling me how much you loved the movie. Yeah, that's when I realized how much you loved Star Wars. So you ready to talk some Star Wars with me?
Super. I'm always ready to talk Star Wars. I'm so excited about this night. This is the best holiday of the year, and probably, I can't pinpoint one Star Wars memory, but there's nothing like being in a theater, watching a Star Wars movie on opening night when that score hits and everyone raises up their lightsabers and screams. Absolutely nothing like it.
Oh, man. I'm going to just tell a quick funny story that I have. When Force Awakens was coming out, I had went to Florida for Thanksgiving, came back, and my mother had redecorated the house, cleaned everything. Suddenly decided to get on a big Star Wars kick. I go into my bathroom and I have a Star Wars shower curtain all of a sudden. And I go, Mom, two things. One, awesome. Two, nobody can ever use this bathroom. But nevertheless, it was an awesome shower curtain that had a great run. So, yeah, okay. Next up, we have, he is a comedian, hosts Nerd Night. I'm sure has a lot to say about Star Wars and the selections that we have prepared. Glenn Tickle, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, friend?
I'm good. So tell me something about Star Wars, a fond memory, something you love.
It's hard because I don't remember not knowing about it and liking it because I came out the same year Return of the Jedi did, so it's been around forever. But when they re-released the special editions in theaters in the 90s, I remember that being a really big deal, getting to see it on a big screen because I was just getting really into movies and wanting to make them at the time, and then getting to go see my favorite one up on the screen. But my favorite one is Jedi, and the other two, I didn't like the special edition stuff that they did. So I was already kind of beat down by the time that one came out. I'm like, let's see what they messed up with this. But it was still that experience of getting to see it was great.
Oh, man. All right. Well, I'm excited to talk to you. I know you have lots of thoughts. All right. Next up, we have, she's a DeSales grad, a playwright, has directed her own material in New York. Please make some noise for Haley Kendra Smith. How you doing, Haley?
Hi, that's me. I'm good.
Hey there. Buns are awesome. Well done.
Thank you. It actually took a lot longer than it should have because I'm not really a girl. So doing my hair and makeup just takes me forever. And I didn't know how to actually navigate all of that until about 2 years ago. So we're working with it. But my favorite Star Wars memory is actually when the Clone Wars series came out on Cartoon Network. Me and my dad and my sister would watch it every single week. So we're just nerds, I guess.
Good stuff. you can't. I mean, look, this is nerd culture is at an all-time high. It is cool to be a nerd again, guys. Like you're almost a nerd if you're not a nerd. Like it's kind of a reverse effect now, I would say. Geek chic, you know. All right, and finally we have. Please make some noise. He's been with us on all of the movie talks. He also works at ArtsQuest. I thank him every day for recording these things and knowing how to make life work. Mike Lero, how you doing?
I'm great. I got my toys here. That's what I'm about.
Oh man,
that's what I'm about.
I have this Star Wars piggy bank that has money in it.
Nice.
Yeah.
It sounds like you have an I work for a nonprofit amount of money in your bank, but
yeah, there's probably $8 in there. So, all right. So, Mike, do you have any other than your toys? Any like a fond Star Wars memory that pops out at you?
Definitely. I do want to say that I have enjoyed. This is a Star Wars memory for sure. I have enjoyed being with you every week talking about Star Wars. That is a very fond memory for me. And Addison as well. You two have been great. Recently, I'll be honest. Recently, I was at Star Wars Land at Disney, and boy, that's kind of we're going to definitely get into this tonight, but that was sequel stuff. But they did such a great job, and you really get drawn into that universe there. It's great. I really had a great time there. It's a great memory for me.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I went there back in November, 2 years ago. November 2018 for Thanksgiving, and like my first time in Disney since like 2007. So much Star Wars stuff. Like the thing I loved most was there was like a training session for little kids to become Padawans, and just seeing them try and like use the Force, like the most adorable thing, man. Star Wars is a generational thing. It works every generation. It's not going away anytime soon. And of course, they announced today, Taika Waititi, a brilliant mind, is going to write and direct a new Star Wars movie until 3 weeks from now when Kathleen Kennedy fires him for creative differences. Let's hope it doesn't happen, because the man is brilliant. He directed the last episode of The Mandalorian, which was, in my opinion, the best episode. So good. He is what Star Wars needs right now. So, all right, Addison.
Yeah.
Let's start with our first topic.
Sure. All right. So I did reorganize some of these questions so we could, build the drama as we go along. So if you're like, hey, that's not the first question on the forum, well, guess what? I reordered them because I do what I want.
You're overthinking how well everyone's going to remember this form you made.
Yeah. I don't know. I spent a lot of time with the forum today. So first, we have best hairstyle: Leia buns, Padma bun, or Rey triple ponytail.
First off, Addison, Padme.
What did I say?
Padma.
Oh, I meant to say Padme. I wrote it right.
Nice correct.
I spelled it correctly. So
All
don't.
right, so it's okay. We forgive you. It's not like there's an audience and we're recording this. It's fine.
No, I'm going to purposely mispronounce everything. Leah, Padma, or Rhea?
Yeah. All right. So we'll each go through what our favorite of these options is. And when we're done, we'll say what we think the audience is going to pick. Okay? So, and then Addison will rock our world. So, all right. So I'll go first this time. I mean, to me, my favorite, and I feel this is a no-brainer, it's the Leia buns. So they are iconic. It's everybody's, I think first memory of Star Wars for the most part is that movie and the buns. That's my favorite, and it's what I think everybody's picking. Haley, your thoughts?
I think it should be obvious, but Leia buns, obviously. If I had hair that was like actually thick and voluminous, I would do the whole thing, and I would rock it. But we settle for what we can get.
Yeah. All right, Mike, what do you think? Your favorite, and what do you think the choice will be?
I think the choice will be Leia buns, but my choice is Rey's 3 ponytails.
Okay.
I love Rey. I have a big crush on Rey.
I mean, she's a great character. It's a good look. I feel like we should have given some love to the Padawan hairstyle in this, that whole one singular braid thing. But, if you unbraid that, I feel like you have half a mullet. I mean, that's just my thought.
Yeah, it is just a very localized mullet, essentially.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's like business on top, party on just this one side.
Yeah.
Because because that's all a Jedi is allowed to party, just a tiny little bit.
Yeah, you can only have this much fun.
You are forbidden to love, but you can have a mullet, so you probably won't
Well,
get
that's
a lot of
the
love
thing is
anyway.
it keeps lovers away.
Well, that's true.
All right.
Obviously not well enough, but
Lauren, your favorite and what you think the audience picked.
Well, so I want to go with Rey Triple Ponytail just because of ease, because I think that most of my beauty-related injuries have been trying to make those buns and like stabbing myself with like bobby pins. But I think it's the classic. It's got to be the buns. I would assume that's what people are going to pick, and I think it created a situation where you needed to have some iconic hairstyles throughout the series.
That is very valid. I think so far we're all in agreement. Glenn, your thoughts? Go.
I mean, Leia on Andor had better hair than Leia Buns, and also in several other points throughout the city. Like, Leia Buns is going to win. It's going to be the one everybody picks. It's one of the most iconic images from the movies, but outside of the context of cosplay, you would look ridiculous with that. So the one on this list that should win objectively for the best hairstyle is Rey Triple Ponytail.
Okay.
And I just came in under the buzzer of my dishwasher if my mic's picking it up.
So why does nobody pick Padme?
I think it's a very intricate
She knows
bun.
what she did.
Yeah, no one
she does know.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, and then you don't get to even see it. It's all in the back, and like, well, that's for not me.
Yeah. Agreed.
Mhm.
All right. I think we've come to our conclusion that we think it's going to be the Leia Buns. So Addison, please
All right.
get to it.
All right. So the best hairstyle goes to Leia Buns.
Of course.
Yay, but
Yeah. Look at those
Classic.
buns. Haha. She
yeah,
got some nice buns, baby. All right, so let's look at the breakdown here. So again, this is out of 113 responses. We had 114 total responses. There are a
Wow.
few that we didn't get a full 114 responses. So like one of these people was clearly so conflicted they couldn't answer because it was such a tie. But you can see that Rey Triple Pony, it's got a decent amount of love there. I think we all agree it's a very functional style. Like the buns, obviously most iconic, but I think the Rey buns we would all wear more often than the buns. No?
Yep.
Yes?
Yep, I agree. I would.
Yeah, I'm surprised Padme had a strong showing as she did.
Yeah. The Rey Triple Pony is like intense, but also sporty. It's like creative sports. So
Riley, you could wear that to the
Yeah.
gym, probably.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I do have a friend who has
don't
really
have that
short
much hair
so she has to do a
or go to
double
the gym.
pony because like she can't get it all up into one ponytail. So it's actually a thing. So that's that question.
That's a good question.
Let's move on to our next one. So now we've got best lightsaber color. Blue, green, purple, red. I know I did get some flack from my roommates for that. They're not like, it's not just blue, it's like cyan or something. Like they're specific. I'm sorry we
Ugh.
generalized.
Shut up,
But
nerds.
that's the basic color that they are. Okay. So
I apologize. That's too nerdy for even Star Wars. It's
yeah.
so
So yeah, those were your choices. You guys voted. And now you guys our panel is gonna discuss blue, green, purple, or red.
all right, let's start the opposite way this time. Glenn, you first. Your favorite and what you think the audience will pick.
Just it's blue all around. It's my favorite, objectively the best one, and the audience will pick it. And I have.
Like,
Oh,
God.
you booped us.
Oh man. All right. Okay. Next, let's go to Haley. Your favorite and what you think the audience will pick.
My favorite is purple, but the thing is that like the only reason it's my favorite is because it's specific to Mace Windu. So that's why. My second favorite would be green because that's my favorite color, but I think the audience is gonna pick blue because that's basically like the only lightsaber you can get that's widely produced unless you pay like big money for it. I have Anakin's lightsaber, but it's in my closet and I can't reach it, and I don't have anyone here who's tall enough to help me, and I didn't want to hurt myself for this.
The Force is
So-
for. What do you?
Well, apparently I wasn't blessed. So
All right. Well. Okay. Mike, your favorite, and what will the audience pick?
My favorite is green, not because it's my favorite color, but because I tend to like all of the Jedi that have the green lightsabers, like Qui-Gon Jinn. I like what the color represents in the universe as the sort of the ambassador type person, the studious person, people who are strong with the Force and know the Force inside and out. That's why I like that color. I think that while I agree that you all think the blue might be what the audience picks, I think it'll be red is what the audience picks.
Okay.
Ugh.
Is there a
I
why?
sure hope not.
Well,
Rough
Darth
audience.
The
Darth
audience
Vader-
is evil. That's why.
Well, I think that it has a lot to do with the fact that Darth Vader has a red lightsaber, and he's Darth Vader. He's the icon of the whole thing. I mean, it's about him ultimately, and I think that's what most people tend to be, a little bit evil. So I think it's going to be between blue and red, but I think that red will get it.
Okay. Lauren.
I'm going to go for the hopeful response. Now, if yellow had been an option, I would have picked yellow because I like the idea of the balance between the scholarly and the protective. But I would definitely go blue. It's classic. I like the idea of it's the Jedi who wants to protect and use the Force to protect others. So I think it's a solid win, and I see that winning because I think if you fall in love with Star Wars in the order in which you watch New Hope first, I think that's the lightsaber you're going to gravitate towards.
Okay. So I lean more towards Mike in that my favorite and what I think the audience will pick is red. And I say this because, well, red is my favorite color. And also I remember, I find the most memorable lightsabers are red. If you think about the Darth Maul lightsaber, the double-sided one, if you think about, Kylo Ren's lightsaber with two little things. So these are very accident-prone lightsabers. I don't know how these people aren't accidentally cutting off their limbs, And then
I mean, limbs go left and right in any Star Wars movie. I have a red lightsaber. This is what I make my kids use when they're being punished. Like when you're not behaving, you don't get to play with the blue or the green one. You have to use the red one because now you're the bad guy.
Oh my God.
I have more faith in the audience than to think that they picked red.
I think the audience thinks lightsabers. They think the memorable ones, like the distinct ones, and I think red. I am most likely wrong, but I stand by
I mean, large groups of people have famously made some bad decisions in the past few years, so who's to say?
it.
yikes.
All right, Addison, please reveal the winner.
All right. The best lightsaber color is. Oh, hold on. Where's the button? Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. It's blue. Let's look at the breakdown. But just
See the
a disclaimer
numbers.
before we go to the pie chart. These pie charts were generated from Google Forms, and I could not edit them. So it's frustrating because the pie charts do not coordinate with the colors labeled. But
Oh, yeah.
Blue might be
That
yellow and,
yeah. So
I was going to say you don't need to explain it, but we all 100% would have called you on this.
yeah, no. So this was not my choice. It's what Google Slides gave me.
It's hurting my brain.
I know, but at least blue is correct and is the winner.
I feel
So
colorblind in a strange way. So
Wow,
Right.
that is very hard to actually.
It's like that game of you read written out colors that are printed in a different color, and you have to say the color that's printed, not the word, or the other way around.
yeah,
It's like that, but with
we get
lightsaber
it.
math.
Yep.
I keep
So-
thinking, oh, red was second, but no, it's last. So
Yeah.
It belongs.
It is last.
I'm honestly surprised that many people picked purple. I thought I was going to be the only one. So
Yeah. I mean, none
I'm
of them
surprised it
didn't
beat
get any
red.
love, like it's even though it's like a clear winner, clearly these colors are all appreciated, which is nice.
and a lot of Samuel L. Jackson fans in the audience probably. So
Mhm.
that's
word.
purple love, So
Yeah.
yeah. All right.
Cool.
What do we have next?
All right. Next question is the best non-human sidekick.
Ooh.
BB-8, C-3PO, Chewbacca, Jar Jar Binks, K2SO, L337, R2D2. So, do you guys want me to leave this slide up because that's like a lot of options? Or
Yeah, if you could.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
I'll leave
I'm
this
not
one
going
up.
to pick any of these, but
Yeah, Glenn, let's
It
hear
would
from you
help the
first.
audience.
Let's hear your thoughts on this, Glenn. Go ahead.
I'm offended by this list. Jar Jar Binks isn't anybody's favorite anything.
Watch him win.
Like I feel like you left off any of the Ewoks specifically to offend me, and you have. Wicket is the best non-human sidekick. If I really had to go off the list, it's R2D2, but I would like, who would you rather have? An annoying robot that beeps or a fun teddy bear that has a spear and worships your gold friend?
All right. Well, with that, who do you think the audience is going to pick?
R2D2.
Okay.
With a strong showing for BB-8, even though it's a bad robot design.
All right.
Fun
Well,
character, but practically the design is bad.
I think, and this is where we start arguing, I think you're wrong on all accounts. I think the best non-human sidekick and the one the audience will pick is Chewbacca. So,
Chewbacca's
Off the share for a
fine.
second, but I'll bring it back. I
Fine.
promise.
Interesting.
because Chewbacca has been there from the start. Everybody loves the Wookiee. He's hysterical. He's your best friend at times. He saves the day on many occasions. Yeah, and he's just lovable. You said who would you rather be stuck with? The tiny. You forgot. Like I'd pick the Wookiee between the annoying robot and the Chewbacca is the correct answer.
That's because you can't smell movies, my dude.
What?
You can't smell. You're gonna hang out with a giant monkey that's been in a spaceship by himself for 6 months. Yuck.
Droids.
What do you think Ewoks smell like? I mean, I don't really.
Animals, like not great, but better than Chewbacca.
All right, so
Chewbacca
we'll
looks really well groomed. Like you see that fur, it doesn't look matted. It's shiny. He probably conditions. I think Chewie
Yeah.
smells good.
days at the spa. Yeah,
Yeah,
look,
a nice hair mask every now and then, keep it fresh.
Glenn, when they re-release the special editions in 4D, we'll come back to this conversation. And maybe
Yeah,
I'll
when we
bow
could
down to
when
you.
we could smell all the characters.
Lauren, your choice for best non-human, and who do you think will be the actual winner?
I won't lie, this hurt my brain for a while, and Anthony, I'm totally with you. I think Chewie wins. He's cuddly, he's lovable, he's funny, and I think just like the amount of adventures he's seen, he's worthy of that. But I think R2 has so much utility. In a pinch, if I'm in a battle, I want R2 next to me because he's going to be able to fix things. And he's much maligned. He's just like kind of put out there, never complains. He beep boops. I can totally understand everything he's saying, so I'm saying R2 for the win. In my
Okay,
mind. But Chewie will be chosen and given a medal.
finally.
We do have a comment real quick from JD Miller that Ewoks smell like campfires and s'mores.
See?
Aw.
Nice.
How does he know this?
I don't know, but he said it as a statement, not a question or suggestion. So
He's not
he knows.
wrong.
Yeah,
JD knows
clearly
what's up.
knows. So thank you, JD.
Glenn, in these Ewok movies, did they say at some point?
Yeah.
Ewoks
You mean the
smell
best
like
Star
candy
Wars films?
stores? Yeah, with Wilford Brimley, right? Is that what you want to get across?
There's like a campfire scene, I think. I don't think that s'mores make a strong showing. But no, they made like for the food in the Ewok movies, they went to like an Asian market in California to buy like stuff that white people wouldn't recognize, and all that food looks delicious in those movies.
It feels like you should show off your shirt now, Glenn.
Yeah, it's a Ewok eating noodles out of a stormtrooper helmet.
Oh my God.
I mean, they do eat stormtroopers, but stormtroopers deserve to be eaten. So what are you gonna do?
What I'm going to do is take it over to Haley. Haley, please tell me you do not agree with Glenn Tickle.
Well, maybe you should have put Ewoks as like an option, but I think Chewbacca is the best non-human sidekick because for a non-human, he sure as hell shows a lot of humanity. And I just think I'd rather have him like protecting small little me because he's so big. And also in the newer movies when Han died and he like cried, and then when Leia died and he cried, I like got so emo. I was like, why am I upset over this furry little animal right now? But like, yeah, I think R2 is going to be like the fan favorite though, because he's also like a badass.
Okay. I probably should have mentioned up top, people. Spoilers may happen for the new movie. If you have
If
not
you
seen
haven't
it,
seen it yet,
Who's
then
watching this show?
Addison, did you end up seeing this
Addison.
movie? Did we just destroy your world?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I was late
Addison.
to the Star Wars game in general. So it's all been spoiled. I'm going back and learning so much. I knew who Luke's father was long before I watched the movie. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm okay with it. I've made peace
Alright.
with the fact that there will be spoilers tonight. And it's more like I get these little tidbits of information. I gotta find out how we get there though, right? It's not a
This is
story till I
true.
know the rest of the plot. So
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. All right.
But also, so everyone knows, I have watched the original 3, which I feel like is very important to everyone. So those are the ones I definitely have seen. I've seen bits and pieces of all the other ones. And again, it's not because I'm avoiding it. I am very unfortunately was not invited as a kid to watch Star Wars with my uncle and my brother. And
Wow.
I resent that a little bit because I do enjoy it a lot. And I'm excited to watch the movies now that I have a Disney Plus account that's actually Anthony's. So, it's real nice.
In my house, if you didn't watch Star Wars, you were basically disowned. So
Mhm.
I started to like it real quick.
Addison, before I kick it over to Mike, I think while Mike's responding, you should get your father and brother on this call, and we'll yell at them for not letting you watch Star Wars.
Yeah, well, it wasn't my dad. I will say, so it's not my dad's fault. It's my uncle's. So,
Oh, well, how dare he? Get him on too. So
yeah, my uncle won't be able to use Zoom, but I'll let him know that I did publicly say this on a Zoom call to other people. So,
oh man.
yeah.
Okay. Well, sorry for spoiling the movie, and sorry to everybody else if you have not seen episode 9, but you had to know this was going to happen. So, Mike Lero, your favorite non-human sidekick, and who do you think the audience will pick?
Listen, who beat Chewbacca at Djarik? This little guy. All right, the Wookiee might be able to rip your arms off, but he beat him. So R2's my pick for a lot of reasons. I think we all know the reasons. He's a badass. And I do think that the public would probably choose Chewbacca. I think that's a good guess, but my pick would be R2.
Okay. So it seems like we're kind of like in a split between R2 and Chewbacca, and Glenn is wrong. So that seems to be where we are.
Wilford Brimley is the best non-human sidekick.
Oh my God. Oh man. Yeah. Okay, Addison, please reveal the results.
All right. The best non-human sidekick is Chewbacca.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, I find this acceptable. Like, that's fine.
That's great.
I'm not trying to
We'll
put down
allow it.
Chewbacca.
Wow.
I think it's very possible R2D2 is second. So
If it was L337, I would question your
Breakdown.
whole
So yeah, it's pretty
system.
pretty split here between
Oh
Chewbacca
wow.
and R2.
Yeah, oh, good thing you
Very
included Jar
close.
Jar on the list.
I don't think people knew who
Yeah, Jar Jar-
L337 is. I don't think
Yeah.
people know who that is. That's
Jar
why.
Jar
It's
and
a forgettable
L337
character.
each had 1 vote. So
Wow. It's a pity vote.
yeah, if anyone wants to
Wow.
like claim it, those were their votes.
if anyone is not
Oh,
aware,
people! This is the first time I'm getting a lot of chat. People are mad. So this-
Interesting.
well,
Matt.
of course, we're Star Wars fans. So, Addison, you're welcome to read some of those on air. But if anybody's in the audience not familiar with who K2SO or L337 are, K2SO is the droid in Rogue One, and L337 is the droid in Solo. So, put them on because I'm trying to include all the movies.
Did
So,
K2? Does it look like K2SO beat C3PO? Is that accurate? I mean, it's close.
Ooh, it does look that way.
whoa,
I think
Wow.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the
I mean,
numbers.
C3PO is annoying,
Yeah.
and
I like
K2SO
C3PO.
is
That's
one of
interesting.
the better aspects of Rogue One.
K2SO has
He was
spunk.
good.
Like, he's pretty memorable. Like, I remember being crushed when he
Yeah.
died. So,
Wait, hold on. What are you guys saying? Who do you think C3PO?
K2SO beat C3PO.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah.
Wow.
That's surprising.
That is a
Yeah.
surprise. Yeah, that's all right. Cool. Addison, what are people
Just
saying
based
in the-
off of like name recognition, I would have assumed
Yeah.
3PO
Yeah.
would do better.
Yeah.
Addison, what are people saying in the chat?
I mean, people are mad. One person did admit that Jar Jar Binks was her. Thank you, Angie. We love you.
Don't tell people that, Angie.
BB-8 was Rob.
Take that to your grave. Keep that as your dark secret.
That's pretty much it. But people were like, what? It just all popped up all at once.
Oh, man.
I'm sad that C-3PO didn't get more. I love C-3PO. He's like an anxious little robot, which is so funny. Also, I mentioned this in our discussion on Return of the Jedi, but he's like not actually good at languages, which is supposed to be like his whole job, and that cracks me up. Like every time he needs to use another language, he's like, this is a different dialect, and what I think he said is, and like he doesn't really know, which I find just great. He's really trying.
I will say, Addison, that when you do watch Rise of Skywalker, in my own opinion, C-3PO is used best in that film. So I think that's the best C-3PO.
Cool.
So
I'm excited.
Don't open a can of worms.
okay, yeah. It's fine. We can argue. It's not a Star Wars show if we don't. So, all right.
So we're now at best lightsaber battle. I'm not going to read all of these. I'm just going to leave those here because that's a lot of information. So
Yeah. All right. I want to start with Lauren. Your favorite and what you think the audience will pick.
Okay, so if I had to guess, I am going to assume that the Luke versus Darth Vader like classic from Empire Strikes Back, I am assuming that's going to win. Because it's often quoted or misquoted like what exactly happens there, and because of like what that brings to fruition, I'm assuming people are going to pick that. However, my favorite, and it's not my favorite Star Wars film, but it's definitely my favorite lightsaber battle, is the Rey versus Kylo in The Rise of Skywalker. I think cinematically, it is perfection. I think it is some of the best choreography. I think it's the choreography that we all, let's be honest, with like broomsticks, like running around our houses, wanted lightsaber battles to look like fast. I don't know. There's just something so epic about it. You know, I know there's probably going to be a lot of debate about that section of the Skywalker saga tonight, I would guess anyways. But there's something to me so like perfect about that setting, just how massive it feels, but then also like how personal that choreography gets. I think it's perfection.
Okay. All right.
Oh God, it's coming. I can feel it.
No. Mike, let's go to you next. Your thoughts?
Well, I thought about this one a lot, and I have probably an unusual one. My pick, for a number of reasons, and I'll clarify them. I think that out of all of those, Yoda versus Count Dooku is the best, and I have several reasons for that. One is
reasons.
It's the first time for me that I remember specifically in the movies seeing Yoda fight with a lightsaber for the first time blew me away. I loved it. It was my favorite scene in that entire movie. It made that movie, which I don't like that movie. It made that movie tolerable. And here's the other thing. Count Dooku was a Jedi. He was Yoda's apprentice. Yoda taught him absolutely everything that he knew. This is now, for all intents and purposes, like, they're measuring their, their lightsabers. So Count Dooku's cocky. He thinks he's going to beat his former master. He just beat Obi-Wan and Anakin, and he thinks he can just come in here and own Yoda. But Yoda puts him down, and Count Dooku flees. And I think that sets up the rest of the next movie. It sets up the Clone Wars series, and like how Dooku is literally like, all right, well, we have to not fight Yoda anymore because I almost lost. It's a very important scene because it shows who's the boss, who's in charge, and it's very emotional. That's former apprentice and master fighting right there.
Okay.
What's the audience going to pick? Luke and Darth Vader.
In Empire or Return of the Jedi?
I think from Empire.
Okay. All right. So I'll go next. My favorite is a Luke and Vader fight, but it's actually the one in Return of the Jedi because I think emotional stakes are at their all-time highest. And literally in my head, I just always think of this is one of the things I think about most in Star Wars. When Luke is hiding from Vader, and Vader says, "If I can't turn you, I'll turn your sister. Maybe she'll turn." And then Luke, all of his emotion just comes out, and you see that sweeping camera shot of just Luke and Vader fighting. And he just screams, no, just keeps hitting him, and then eventually Vader's hand cuts off. Like, to me, that is the most emotionally intense moment in any Star Wars battle. So from that, maybe not be the best actual battle, That's my favorite lightsaber battle. In terms of what I think the audience will pick, and I'm most likely wrong, but I just have a hunch on this one. I do think it's a prequel battle, and I think it's the Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Darth Maul battle from Phantom Menace because it is so badass. I think it's probably, if you ask anybody who doesn't like the prequels, one of the best things about them, they'll probably tell you that fight. So that's what I'm going with in terms of sheer badassness. But again, I'm probably wrong.
Anthony, I want you to have more confidence in yourself. Stop saying I'm probably wrong after your guess. Just believe in yourself and make a pick.
All right. It's the Phantom Menace is the one the audiences are going to pick.
Okay. Good job. Stick your flag in the ground and be proud of yourself.
That is the way I have spoken. All right. Cool. Okay. So now, Lauren, your thoughts. Did I ask you already?
Oh no! I mean, I'll keep talking about lightsaber battles.
Sorry, my bad. Haley. Hello.
All right. This was actually the hardest question for me to answer, and I like skipped it and then went back because I had to really think about it because all of the options I think are solid. But I did go with the Phantom Menace because the Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul. Because first of all, that's a saving grace of Phantom Menace. I don't really see any other point in Phantom Menace other than that fight. So right there, that's one. But also I thought it's literally a passing of the torch. Like once Qui-Gon, here's another spoiler, guys, if you haven't seen episode 1.
21 years old.
Qui-Gon gets chopped in half, Obi-Wan freaks out and he's like, yo, fuck this. And he just
gets impaled. He doesn't get cut in half. Darth Maul's the one who gets cut.
Oh, yeah, yes. Sorry. My bad. But
Star Wars nerds.
Yes.
Got you.
I mixed up my people. But you see Obi-Wan take over. And that's the point where Obi-Wan's like, all right, well, now I have to train Anakin. And without that moment, who knows if anything else could have happened. I think the audience is going to pick a prequel fight, but I think they're going to pick Anakin versus Obi-Wan in Ep 3 because that's the high ground meme.
That's an amazing fight. That is probably my third favorite fight after the two I mentioned. It's such a good, some of the dialogue that precedes it is very cheesy, but
right.
But the battle itself is great. So. Glenn, please give us your incorrect choices.
I mean, there's no lightsabers in the Ewok movies, so there's a couple blasters, but the best one is I will apply a lot of what Lauren said, but to the Qui-Gon, Darth Maul, Obi-Wan fight. I don't remember what she said, but while she was saying it, I was like, yeah, but you're talking about the wrong one. Like, talking about doing broomstick choreography, like that was the first time in a Star Wars movie you're like, oh, these fights can also look very cool because like the idea of a laser sword is why Star Wars is successful. It's the like if they didn't have them, it would have been another forgettable sci-fi movie. It is the thing that like grabbed public consciousness in a way that nothing else in the franchise has. That's not putting anything else down, but that's. If you have to pick one thing about Star Wars that made it very popular, it's dope laser swords. And the first time you really get to see them used in like an interesting way was that fight. Like a lot of you gave emotional answers for the best fight. That might be like the best scene, but the best just like people whacking at each other with sticks is absolutely Phantom Menace.
Okay. Now, before we get this answer, I just want to say, and we're welcome to argue, that I think a lot of the fights in the prequels are badass. But an issue I have with them is that they feel choreographed. They feel like a dance. You know what I mean? I feel like I can see these people counting in their head, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, Prove me wrong. So.
The Force.
Well, we can't because they are like
the Force.
They're movie fights, bud. They're choreographed. I can't talk you out of that.
Thank you. Well, then I would say that I think the direction of George Lucas should have given to his actors is try not to look like you're counting so much. So, anyway, Yeah, it's fine. I'm probably getting a lot of hate mail sent to Addison right now.
Yeah, I am. I did get a. Does anyone seriously consider the sequel fights to be remotely compelling? Is exactly how I imagine that.
Well,
Oh my.
you want me to tell you what I
Oh.
think the worst fight's going to be from the audience?
Yeah.
It's going to be the one.
Your favorite, I think.
Oh, you think?
Oh man! All right, Addison, let's break it down. Tell us what's happening.
We'll move forward. The best lightsaber
Probably the silly
battle.
one where Yoda's throwing the Senate at a guy. That's probably not the fan favorite.
Badass move though. Or a
That was a pretty great chair fight. You're right,
The
but
worst one better be. They better get the worst one right.
All right, you guys, are you ready to
Yeah.
find out what the best lightsaber battle is of all time?
Yes.
It is.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Iconic.
So
It
let's
is-
look at the
Yeah.
breakdown here.
Oh my
It's
god.
quite a
My
breakdown.
turn makes my
Wow.
answer.
with a healthy lead.
Mine
Yeah.
got more love than I thought. Okay, cool. I dig it.
No way. 12% to Rey and Kylo versus Snoke's Praetorian guards. Get out of here.
I'm amazed at that
Get out of here.
top half.
That was the worst fight in the whole entire
That was some,
thing.
yeah, that's some
The worst.
let's stand back to back shootout nonsense.
What just won
Agreed.
was
It was
glorious
compelling.
next to this.
Well,
Ooh, we got the
guys,
most vanilla choice wins. Ooh, shots fired.
like I said,
I like
guys,
this.
Vanilla.
Vanilla's a delicious flavor, and
Vanilla is the
that's
absence
why
of flavor.
incorrect.
They make Millennium Falcon
I
ice cream
lost.
sandwiches, and the ice cream flavor in that is vanilla. So
Okay. Also, I just
Vanilla's so great; it's in so many things you forget how good it is.
yeah, I just want to say to the audience real quick, I encourage the trash talk right now. So like, if you want to send it to me and I'll read it to these guys, please let me know your
bring on the
opinions.
trash talk.
Bring it on. I'll read my favorites. I can't promise I'll read everything because sometimes the chat blows up. But yeah,
I
yeah.
worked at a movie theater when episode 1 was in theaters and almost got fired several times because we would just blow off what we were doing because we had it timed whenever that fight was on to go watch it.
Yeah.
So if you saw that at the theater I worked in for like the 3 months it was in theaters, just there would like be 4 or 5 ushers walk in at the beginning of the fight because it's great.
Can we just focus on the fact that I was right? So Addison, that confidence you told me to have, it's there.
Yeah,
I
there
dig
you
it.
go.
So-
Now you know to believe in yourself and apply
Thank you.
that to the rest of your life.
Wait a minute. Before you click that,
Yes.
the top 3, perfect.
Uh-huh.
That's a good top 3. How did that Praetorian Guard beat that Luke Darth Vader in Return of the Jedi? How did it beat that?
I don't know. You're gonna have to trash
I don't
talk
get
this
that.
audience because they're the ones who filled out the form.
All right, I'm done.
Okay. Are we ready for our next question? So we've
Yeah.
got 2 questions left. So this is our second to last, penultimate, best.
A lot of
hero.
choices for everybody to just agree that it's Luke.
All right. Well, I'm going to say that I do not think it will be Luke.
Interesting.
First off, my favorite.
You've been
is
wrong
Han-
before.
Yes, my favorite is Han Solo. For the badass that he is, the scoundrel with a heart of gold. I think he has strong character development. I do think the audience could actually vote for him. I think he might be the most popular character in all of Star Wars. Also, recency bias. I could also see a lot of people voting for Rey. So those are my thoughts. I think it's going to be Han or Rey. I've spoken. Haley, thoughts? Go.
This was another one I had trouble with because I spent like half an hour debating between General Leia Organa and Han Solo, but of course I went with the General. So,
Han was a general too.
yeah, but General Leia Organa just sounds better. Han Solo's cool. I think the audience is gonna pick Han Solo, but yeah, I picked Leia.
Okay, not a bad choice though. I think there's a very real chance Leia could win this. So, Glenn, you're wrong. Go.
It's Luke Skywalker is the obvious answer to this, and any you could pick any hero from a movie and throw him on this list. Luke still wins. Like he is what our monoculture currently looks at as a hero. Like, you could retitle Joseph Campbell's seminal Hero with a Thousand Faces and just call it Luke, and it would still apply. Like, every screenwriting book that breaks down story structure is talking about what Luke goes through in those first 3 movies, like beat for beat. If you follow along, like, it's all there. Rey is probably second because she hit a lot of the same notes Luke did, and actually kind of finished his hero's journey at the end in arguably one of the worst scenes of a Star Wars movie. But yeah, it's 100% Luke Skywalker.
So before I kick it over to Lauren, Glenn, this has no real relevance, just a list that Luke's not on, but others are. The American Film Institute do a lot of movie lists. They did one like 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago at this point, for the 100 best heroes and villains, so 50 and 50. Han Solo and Obi-Wan Kenobi are on the best heroes list. Darth Vader is on best villain. Luke Skywalker is nowhere to be found. So
that's because, remember, he was out of competition because it would be a runaway.
Nope, he did not make it. So
they're like, well, no, we know. Like, everyone, if we just ask, everyone's going to say Luke Skywalker because he's obviously the best. So other than Luke Skywalker, we mean. That's the full title of the list, is the 50 best heroes except for Luke Skywalker, because we want this to be fair.
Okay. Lauren, your thoughts?
Of thoughts. This one I found the hardest to answer because there are so many. I obviously, it's a story built around heroes and villains and that push and pull and being whether to the dark or the light. I think, to me, and I hope the audience feels the same. I think General Leia Organa is the runaway favorite.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, you cannot deny Luke's obvious stronghold within this series. But if you look at her story as a whole, she's the most selfless hero of all of them. She forsakes royalty to be a servant to the people in a military position. She's every bit of, I think, they talk about Luke as being the hope of the rebellion. I think it's Leia, hands down. And it's just, I mean, come on, Carrie Fisher rules. It's just, and, from a sci-fi perspective in terms of what her character meant in science fiction films and culture and, as being a heroine in that story, I think just for so many reasons, not only for how she plays into film history, but also just the trajectory of her story throughout the entire franchise. I just think she's the best hero they have.
Okay. A fun story. When I was in 3rd grade, my first girl I had a crush on, her name was Carrie Fisher. And I liked her because her name was Carrie Fisher.
Aww.
He spelled it differently, C-A-R-I, but
close enough.
Yeah. It didn't work out. We were 8. Anyway. All right. Mike Lero, your thoughts?
Well, Anthony.
Yeah.
The general, the scoundrel, the scruffy-looking nerf herder, Han Solo is my pick.
Okay.
For sure, is the best hero. Who do I think the audience is going to pick? Well, if I say Luke, that's just conforming. I actually, I think it's going to be here. How about we be different? How about it's a tie between Luke and Leia?
Ooh.
Interesting. That could be.
All right.
But I'll go with that.
Addison, I think we all really want to know the answer to this one. So.
All right.
Again, I know who the worst one is.
The best hero, according to all of you people, is Han Solo.
Oh!
All right, Anthony.
All right, cool. Well,
this is my favorite.
Was Cassian the worst, Mike? Was Cassian the worst?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Addison, please show us this graph.
We don't have to agree on everything, but it's nice that we can agree on that.
Absolutely.
Here is the breakdown.
You can't even see his color of blue on this chart.
It's very
so much Cassian
difficult
Andor sucks.
to read these. But yeah, I'm surprised because we have Obi-Wan was real close on here too, and we didn't even mention him, you guys.
I mentioned he was the second hero in AFI's list, but that doesn't count. So
yeah.
Ray, her color, does she have a color that's on here?
Yeah, she was like, hold on, I'm gonna have to exit.
Yeah, there's a lot of purples.
Wow.
It's very hard to read this graph. And again, these graphs weren't like easily editable. I tried. But let me see if I go right to the thing. Yeah, so Ray got 7 votes, 6.2%.
That's harsh.
That's disappointing.
Some of those characters aren't even heroes if you want to get technical. Like, words have meaning.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of curious what your thoughts on Poe Dameron are, because he's right there with Cassian with me. I don't think he's a hero.
No. I mean, he's sure as a character in those movies.
Right.
Yeah, Poe got 0 votes.
Yeah. Good.
That's
0. So
man,
that's why you can't see his color. It's because it's not on there.
Nice.
Wow.
Mhm.
All right. Well,
Interesting.
so Glenn, once again, I'm correct. So, all right. Now, let's move on to best movie.
Yes, we are at the final question, everyone.
It's cool that everyone's going to write in Battle for Andor.
Wait, hold on. I hit the wrong button. Please hold
It'll be a
it.
unanimous write-in sweep.
Those things aren't even on Disney Plus. That Lucasfilm refuses to.
Yeah, no, I'm furious about it. I've written letters.
Right. So, best movie. Here's every official movie. Glenn, official movie. So, before we go around and discuss what our favorites are and what we think the audience will pick, I'm going to tell you what I think it's not. I don't think it's any of the prequels. I don't think it's Rogue One, and I don't think it's Solo. I won't mention the sequels just because there is always, of course, the chance for recency bias that could always prevail. But my favorite on this list. Okay, so I will first start by saying what I think the audience is going to pick. I think the audience is going to pick The Empire Strikes Back. I think it is regarded as the best made Star Wars film. But to me, if I could sit down at any point and just pick a Star Wars movie to watch, I'm going with the original. I'm going with New Hope. A New Hope is my favorite Star Wars movie. I just think it's a very quick 2 hours, fun entertainment. I don't need to immediately start the next one, feeling lost or anything. I think A New Hope just stands alone on its own. I mean, it was the original, so it makes sense. So A New Hope is my favorite, but I think the audience is going to pick The Empire Strikes Back. So now, Haley, your thoughts.
My favorite movie of all time is The Empire Strikes Back. Shameless plug, I actually talk about that in my podcast, so check it out anyway.
Tell us your podcast. Plug it better.
It's called Exploring the Interim, and we actually just got on Spotify, so we're pretty cool. But we only have one ep up. I don't talk about The Empire Strikes Back until ep 2, which is, what's today? Monday? So on Wednesday, it'll post. Cool. So on Wednesday, check it out. But yeah, I think the audience is going to pick The Empire Strikes Back too, because I think it's the most badass movie of all time. So.
Okay. Glenn, hello.
Hi, friend. Man, the one you said it's not going to be, I think you're right. Addison took the list away, but I know it because I don't know. I'm reading them like I couldn't just do it off the top of my head. It's definitely not. I don't like Rogue One, and I understand I'm in the minority on this. But there's no dramatic tension because we know they get the plans, and none of those characters are in any other Star Wars movies. So how else is it going to end? It's weird that everybody cheers for the bad guy slaughtering people in the end of the movie. Like, it's a cool scene, but Darth Vader's the villain. It'd be like in Glory if some like badass Confederate soldiers started mowing people down and everyone's like, yeah, this is fantastic. We love this. It really takes away from the story. Empire and New Hope are the top two for sure. But again, to try to be objective about it and not just say my favorite, which is Jedi because Ewoks, but like A New Hope is the one you break down when you're teaching good story structure and everything. I think Empire it's paced better. Like, it starts with a cool fight on Hoth, but I think the first one's probably the best.
Okay. All right. Glenn, I will give you the fact that the Ewoks technically did stop an empire when.
Yeah, that's why they're great.
It is.
Also, I don't think they address it, and Kylo gets Darth Vader's helmet, which was on Andor, and that couldn't have ended well for the Ewoks. Like, I'm glad. I want the Ewoks in more Star Wars stuff, but I don't want to see that scene.
Oh, man. Well, we know at least 2 make it out alive from the end of Rise of Skywalker. Sorry, Addison. But yeah, so. There's
been like enough spoilers that they're all globbed together and I won't remember which ones actually happened, so it's fine.
Good. That's the spirit.
Yeah.
All right. Lauren, your favorite and what you think the audience will pick.
All right, well, if he gets to talk about the Ewok movies, do I get to talk about the Christmas special or no?
Of course you can. Yeah, so that's a write-in, right? Yeah.
This is tough, like eternal debate here, and certainly I think that the merit definitely goes to New Hope. I would think because of how much it's talked about, people will probably pick Empire, and I adore New Hope. Like all of you grew up with these movies, they can feel very personal. And I know this is probably going to be unpopular, but I'm going to say best or favorite or however you want to think about it. Force Awakens made me feel like a kid again. I think it's structured well, shot well, acted brilliantly. And whatever you think about how the series, that part of the series ended, I just felt like that had all the hope. And I don't think I know this is written about a lot. I don't think it's a carbon copy of New Hope there, but I think there's some really beautiful symmetry there. So Force Awakens, it's got a special place in my heart.
I mean, it's an amazing movie. And you think that the audience is going to pick either A New Hope or Empire? Is that what you said?
Yeah, definitely. And I lean Empire. I think Empire is going to take it.
Okay. Mike Lero, your thoughts?
Oh boy. Well, here I'll be quick on what the audience I think is going to pick, because I'm going to go a different route, and it's not what I started out with thinking, but I've been kind of looking at the audience that we have and what they've been picking.
Yeah, they've been wrong about some stuff.
I'm going to make an intelligent adjustment, and I'm going to think that the audience is going to pick The Force Awakens as their top movie. And that's based off of some of the answers I've seen that they've picked. I could be wrong, but I'm going to go with that, and I won't change my answer. Which movie do I enjoy out of all of these? It's the one without Luke Skywalker. It's Rogue One. I really enjoy Rogue One. And Glenn, I hear your points on it, but Luke wouldn't have had a leg to stand on if it wasn't for Jyn Erso. You know, she did all the hard work there and died doing it. So
I keep wanting to like revisit it because I've had people explain like what they really love about it, and it makes me want to watch it. And then anytime I like fire up Disney Plus, by the time I get to the menu, I'm like, I don't want to sit through that again.
Here's something to keep in mind because we talked about this at during our last movie talk, Anthony. I love space battles. Star Wars is about a good space battle, and Rogue One has an amazing space battle. I really enjoy that final battle on Scarif. I think that's a rock solid space battle. And Darth Vader, you know, he's evil, but I love him killing those guys at the end of that movie. I love it. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Sometimes you need a good catharsis.
That's true.
Oh man. Well, all right, Addison.
All right.
Take it away.
Oh boy, our last question, the one everyone's gonna be the most personal about. The best movie is, oh no, where'd the button go? Okay, the best movie is,
it's gonna be Solo. I can feel it.
Oh.
Empire Strikes Back.
Not just the movie, but the soundtrack. They love the soundtrack.
Yeah,
it was the best.
I mean, it's
picture.
good.
All the music in Star Wars is good.
I mean, we didn't talk about the music, so I felt like we should, talk about it for a minute because that is very iconic.
Yeah.
I mean, John Williams, he makes all the best themes. Like, I rewatched Rise of Skywalker today. Like, I have to say, I think one of the best pieces of Star Wars music is the Rey theme. Like, it gives me chills hearing it. Like, it's good stuff. So
I think the only thing I would count against Empire is that it relies on A New Hope for like setup and Jedi for payoff. Like on its own, it's the middle of a story. Like it's great. Like it's probably my second choice, but I think New Hope gets it.
I mean, I think you get the character. I think you get the characters as characters more than any other. Like you get to see like their personalities the most. This is the movie I think you spend the most time with them in terms of, hey, here we are. Let's tell you what we're like. You know what I mean? They're not really. I mean, they're doing stuff, but they're not like it's not like shoot this, run here, blah blah blah.
Right.
We're stuck. Let's repair this. Hey Han, hey Leia, let's kiss. Like kind of how it goes. So, but all right. So 43% Empire, 17.5% A New Hope. Return of the Jedi in third. Revenge of the Sith, is that the one that has 10.5?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
it does.
Of the prequels, it's the watchable one.
But it outranked
I
Force
wouldn't-
Awakens. Like it's funny. I've seen a lot of like, especially like with a lot of the disdain that the prequels get and all that. It seems like the Revenge of the Sith in the last decade has grown in terms of likability. It seems like people are more okay with this film than they were in 2005. Yes, there are some cheesy lines in that movie.
Just because you're all,
sorry, go on.
when you're getting beaten down by a new bad Star Wars movie every year, by the time you get to the third one, like you're just kind of exhausted.
Only Sith stealing absolutes.
It happens. All right. Well,
Well,
yeah.
Interesting. So wait, so work backwards. What were the worst ones in there?
sure. Hold on. Let me pull up my graph so I can tell you the
Solo,
exact
right? Solo gets
numbers.
no votes.
Don't think Solo is a bad movie. I just think it's so
It is
forgettable.
though.
Well, if I agreed with you, we'd both be wrong.
So
Basically,
yeah, the worst votes. Attack of the Clones had 1 vote.
okay.
Wow.
The Force Awakens had 2,
Not the same person who voted for Jar Jar.
Really?
and The Rise of Skywalker had 2.
How many did
Wait a
Solo
minute.
have?
Audience,
Solo,
what are you doing?
Whoa. Whoa.
I don't think anyone voted for Solo. Nope.
They shouldn't. It's
wait,
not a good movie.
No, not
where's
one
The Last
person voted
Jedi?
for Solo.
Where's
Where
The
did
Last Jedi?
The Last Jedi had 6 votes, 5.3%.
Get out. Interesting.
Wow.
Phantom Menace? Did you say that one?
Hold on.
1, right?
I think that was on the
Menace 3.
Three. Okay.
3.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I want to hear your guys' thoughts on The Last Jedi beating some of those movies.
I mean, I
Can you
don't
pull
know.
the thing up?
The
Okay.
chart again? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me get the chart. Hold on. Actually, I have to go back to. Hold on 1 second. It's gonna be fine.
That's interesting to me. I think I'm more intrigued by the worst votes than the top votes.
Oh, right. We can't see them all in here anyway.
Yeah, you can't see them all, but I mean, as you can see, the original 3 take over.
Right. The original trilogy
this pie chart.
by
Yeah.
far.
Rock
Mhm.
solid.
And Revenge of the Sith, like I'm surprised at that. I would have thought for certain Force Awakens would have gotten more than that. I would have thought Last Jedi would have gotten more
Absolutely.
than that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Damn.
Yeah,
All right. Well,
but that's what this group of weirdos watching the Zoom call voted for. So
what did Last Jedi have again?
the Last Jedi,
6%?
that had. Hold on,
Six?
sorry,
You
I
said
can't show this.
I'm
6
sorry.
votes or
I'm
percent?
sorry.
See the thing. Sorry.
I think it was 6.
I think it was 6 votes and like 5.2%.
Oh, I mean, we had about 100, so
Oh,
I guess it's close.
Give me about. Wait, which movie did you want
Last
the answer?
Jedi.
The
Last
Last Jedi. Last Jedi, yeah, had 6 votes. Mhm.
Wow.
Okay. Man.
I do want to say this about all of the movies as a collective, because I say this to a lot of my colleagues. I think I said this to you, Anthony. I love all of the movies, period, because they make me feel a certain way when I watch them. Now, regardless of their production quality or the biases that we have. If you cry in a good way or a bad way watching any of these movies, they're good movies. That's how I feel. There are bad parts of these movies, believe me, but there's just something about this whole thing, this whole universe that is created that just really touches me, and it's I can't say I don't enjoy watching all. I enjoy watching all of these movies. Period.
I totally echo your sentiments.
Yeah.
I think that's a beautiful way to say it. It's about like, and I think that's the fun of debating this, right? Because like I'll say, I'm a Last Jedi apologist. I love The Last Jedi, and I'm okay with that. But I'm also okay with the people who don't love The Last Jedi so much. But the thing is, I think that's the beauty of it, is like it's something that's so ingrained in us, even when you don't maybe love it, or it's not the direction you wanted to go into. There's something about that story that's so compelling, something about this universe that brings us all together, whether we're debating and fighting about it or reveling in the ones that we love the most. So I totally echo your sentiments.
What's everybody's favorite pod race, though? That wasn't on there. What's everybody's favorite 20-minute NASCAR scene?
The one on Malastare, which we didn't see.
Yeah.
Well, no, so I will say this. I agree with both of you. Like, some movies are better than others, yes. But, like, literally, I can sit down and watch any of these movies again. Like, and I've never had an issue with it. I still rewatch Phantom Menace to this day. I think a lot of it also is just like, you know, we have this original Holy Trilogy, and it's so beloved, and everybody's protective of it. And I think sometimes we let that get the best of ourselves in terms of judging these other films. I think especially with the sequel trilogy, like, I think we create a movie in our head that we want. We have all these anticipations for what this thing should be. And when it doesn't meet the movie we created in our head, we don't like that movie. We don't judge what we got. We judge what we didn't get. And it's, you know, sometimes that's good, sometimes it's bad. But regardless, like, I think it's an incredible saga. You know, I, too, am a Last Jedi apologist. I think it's a very well-made film. I don't think it's a great Star Wars film. That's my thing. I think there's certain Star Wars formula things that I think it's missing. But having said that, I'll still watch it. I still think parts of it are badass.
Like a villain.
I think what they opened up with Rogue One and Solo, although neither were really successful for me personally, like looking at other stories than just the main one in the universe, like that, The Mandalorian, I know isn't on any of the list because we're just talking about the movies, is incredible. Like,
absolutely,
that's
totally, yeah,
one of the best Star Wars stories because you go into it, you understand the world this is set in. We don't know this character. We don't know anything really about what we're going to see, but we know, all right, this is already a Star Wars thing. I'm already on board. And that's why the Ewok movies are so goddamn great, because it's the same thing.
I take back what I said. There are two bad things in all of Star Wars, and it's the Ewok movie, the first one, and the second one.
I'm ending our friendship officially on this Zoom call.
All right. Haley, do you have any, it seems that we've all kind of said final closing statements. Haley, do you have anything you want to add to the end of this in terms of your love of Star Wars, your thoughts on the franchise?
Well, the thing is like, even if you put a bad Star Wars movie in front of me, I'm going to watch it. I don't care. It's still a Star Wars movie. It's still a part of this whole story that has been created. So it's like, it might be bad, but you have to respect it to a point. Also, this is off topic, but I have to say, Mike Lero with all of his little figurines. I met Mike Lero when I was in undergrad because he taught this he taught like electrics crew, and I was on that crew obviously as a fake light bulb major, and he came in with this like plot that we had to we were focusing all the lights. We were like positioning these lights. He came in and he had little like Star Wars figurines that looked like they were from the Star Wars Monopoly.
They were.
Of course. And he was like, you have to pick one. You have to pick which one you want to be. And that's going to be like where you are. And I was like, I just thought it was cool. But I wanted to say all of your little figurines just reminded me of that. And I was like, that's cool. But I was upset that you didn't have the Monopoly ones out because those are the cool ones.
Well, they're small. And, you know, I have to, he's small and he barely shows up. But no, that's a good story to tell.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, guys. Well, I guess that's basically it. That was the best of the Star Wars movies. If you enjoy Star Wars, as I'm sure you all do, please take advantage of Disney Plus. There's so much Star Wars content on there that we didn't even touch. Again, there's TV shows, there's Mandalorian, Rebels, Clone Wars.
I forget the name of it. There's a great episode of a new show about the Mandalorian, like behind the scenes stuff with all the directors talking about their episodes. I forget the name of the show.
Galaxy or something.
But it was
like,
great.
It's like Galaxy or Gallery.
Gallery, yes.
Yeah. So we have that. You know, there's Resistance, Forces of Destiny. I think there's a Lego Star Wars movie on there. There's not those Ewok movies. Don't worry about those. And you know, we have the Cassian.
I'll get you
Andor
if you
series.
want. Find me online. I'll get you a bootleg.
Okay. We have the Cassian Andor series that's coming out soon. An Obi-Wan series that's coming out soon. Again, that Taika Waititi movie, which hopefully he doesn't leave due to creative differences with Kathleen Kennedy. Fingers crossed. So all I'm saying is, regardless of how we feel, I think it's a great time to be a Star Wars fan. Like, we're getting so much content. And, you know, like you said, Glenn, the Skywalker saga has ended. Now we're going to other parts of the galaxy and beyond to see what other Star Wars stories we can learn.
Hell yeah, we're gonna get a Max Rebo behind the music. It's gonna be great.
All right. Thank you all, Michael, Haley, Lauren, Glenn. Thank you so much for doing this with me. This was a blast. I think we all have grown as people. We've learned what people like. You know, we've had our worlds rocked. Addison, I'm gonna kick it over to you now.
All right, well, guys, thank you again so much for tuning in, and for all of you for answering the survey. Of course, we wouldn't be able to talk about any of the stuff you guys didn't vote, so that was very much appreciated, and we're glad you're here. Also, if you enjoyed this tonight and any of our other ArtsQuest at Home programming, you can go to artsquest.org/donate if you'd like to make a donation. Any amount truly is very greatly appreciated. And if not, we're truly just so glad to have you here, and we hope you'll check out more ArtsQuest at Home programming. We have some comedy shows coming up this week I hope you'll check out, including a very special improvised stand-up with my improv team Synced Up. Will be on it. We also have some game shows coming up, so check those out. We've got Friend, Family, Follower, and Valley Weird Squares, which is basically Hollywood Squares, but on Zoom with a bunch of really fun faux celebrities. So those are coming up this weekend. Again, you can go to artsquest.org at home to see all that we've got going on there. And then before we close out the show tonight, I'm actually just real quick going to unmute all of your mics, if you don't mind giving our panelists a big round of applause for their work tonight. So I'm going to unmute you all in 3, 2, 1.
Yay! Hey, friends.
Do you want one or the other?
Hooray.
All right. Thank you all again so much for tuning in. We'll see you again soon, and stay safe, stay strong, and stay home, and have a great rest of May the 4th. Bye.